I feel like I'm almost obligated to make a video like this given how I really like Halo and it's been such a big part of my life. And of course I was interested to see some sort of footage regarding the next Halo game at E3. Today we saw Halo Infinite, or rather we actually saw a tech demo of what we can expect to see once we get some actual gameplay or cinematic trailer. This is just me picking it apart based on what I've been seeing. If you want to see the full trailer, I'm sure that exists somewhere on the internet. So I'm going to be going through a little bit slowly, actually. I think I'm going to bring this down to like 75% speed. Actually, I'll bring it down to like half of it. I don't know if that'll distort the audio, but I'm going to go forward with it anyway. I was impressed with what they were able to actually accomplish here. And starting with the plant life, the ferns here. These are very well modeled. And after spending some time in animation, this is really neat. This is really convincing. It's immersive geometry. And each of those leaves could be individually modeled, which is very cool. Actually, before I even go any further, I should say, I didn't even know this was Halo up until a point because of the design. I was expecting a lot of obvious science fiction tells from the game, but since I didn't see a lot of that, I wasn't entirely sure what I was looking at first. And then it really sort of clicked. So I'm liking the water particle effects and the shiny walls, and the shadows are playing across there. That's really important. This is also demonstrating the lighting of the new game. Very nice geometry again, and more demonstration of the lighting, showing the texture of the rock, not to mention the sort of moistness that you see with the water there. So this is very cool because it can show that we can have dynamic environments based on whether or not you want them to be dry or not. Everything is able to do that. And this is a little bit interesting given the fact that it's our first hit of wildlife, and again, this doesn't really give away that it's Halo just yet. We have deer, space deer, very jacked space deer as it looks like. And I actually didn't know this, is that I can actually tell the males apart from the females. You can see the does there next to the bucks. I'm not entirely sure what the species is, or whether I was trying to look up alien deer, but I'm guessing this is probably a species of deer that was common on our planet at a time. And that makes sense with later on. Again, I'm seeing very good modeling on the trees, very good on the leaves, the branches, the ferns again. Some of the reflections are really interesting, depending on their distance. They are at varying degrees of clarity. I like the depth of field. The water reflections are okay, and you do see just a little bit of ripples. Good sound design too. This is amazing as well. Good fire effects. Good air particle waving around. You could actually pick this from anything else. I'm not going to say, oh, it's real life, because obviously there are a few tells that it's not. But this is very well done. Again, this could be from any game, though. I don't necessarily know this is Halo, and that took a lot of people by surprise. Very cool rocks. This is what I like, the rock surfaces, not to mention the alphabet that you're seeing here. That's cool. And maybe not this means something. Given how Halo is with how ancient humanity tied in to the further plot, this could possibly have some semblance. This could be Forerunner script, but I doubt it. There's one thing that looks like an Ankh there on the far upper corner. Maybe that has something to do with it, maybe not. Maybe it's related to Aramaic languages in some way. But that is really good rock texture. That is very well done. And again, this is I didn't even see that the last time. Where there's a vehicle going along the back. I saw this and I was reminded of Stargates. But actually, now that I'm looking at it, this is what it kind of reminds me of. This is the E3 trailer for Halo 3. It actually kind of reminds me of the debris that's in the background there. The broken rings of the space elevator. I find it odd, but that's what's sort of taking back to me there. And that's a very, very odd thing to make a connection on because, well, they were both at E3. They're both rings and all that, although ring, Halo, maybe that's our first hint that that's what it's all about here, that it's a broken Halo ring, except these are stone. And obviously manufactured, so take that as you will. Again, nice rock textures. Very, very nice looking. And even close up, the floor is really nice too. It's a lot of love's put into that. Okay, here's one of the things is that it didn't catch this for Halo right away. This radio looks like any common Motorola that you'd find nowadays. I used to have radios like this when I was working at a couple of jobs back ago. It's very, very well modeled, very, very nice looking, good lighting effects, but I don't necessarily know this is Halo. I can actually see like there's ammunition down there on the table. It looks like a bullet. This could probably be a magazine there next to the second radio that's lying down. But that's my play into it. This is relatively modern looking equipment, and if you're familiar with the original Halo games, they tended to take a modernish sort of take. It's like it was our world, noticeably science fiction, but noticeably human as well. So, I think they said that this is like those are obviously human footprints. Yeah, look at that. Those are boot prints. It's interesting. Oh, it's also noting that this is like the second time I think we've seen jungle in a Halo E3 presentation that I'm aware of, because I think Halo 4 took place in the jungle as well. Okay, this is where I've seen some people making fun how it was these animals, that they were these rhino things. I was actually watching a guy that said, oh, it's like rhinos, Africa, and all that. So what I did was, I actually looked and said, something's up with this. And this is what I noticed, is that the tusks, there are two tusks. And I said to myself, this has got to be an ancient rhino. This has got to be a rhino from earlier in the past. And at this point, I was thinking, this has got to be like a Jurassic Park game or something like that, or an Ice Age game. But then again, that wouldn't have made sense. I put the radio and this rhino together, and I was thinking Jurassic Park. So what I did was I decided to look into it because, again, other people were saying it's Africa, and stuff like that. So what I actually found was, first thing I did was I actually was looking up Ice Age rhinos, and naturally the first thing they were actually pulling up was actually from Ice Age. But then I found one that seemed to be a hit, and that was something called a, what the hell is this called? Started with a B, I can't remember it. But in any case, I decided to look this up, did further image searches, and bada bing bada bang, I found this thing, the Megacerops. And this is a dead ringer for what we're seeing in here. Although it doesn't seem to have the spikes on the back, so that's a little bit interesting, but otherwise it seems to have the general design there. Now this is actually not a rhino, it's rhino-like, and it was common back in the day. And let's see, this was in North America and late Pleistocene, 38 to 33 million 33.9 million years ago. That's interesting. That's quite a bit farther back that I thought would be there, so that's a bit odd for the time frame of this Halo game. So I'm going to go back here. But it shows what we're dealing with here. This is an ancient species of rhino. And the animations for these are okay, nothing really amazing, but nothing really bad either. That's some good bark on the tree. Good bark, good displacement, good everything. This could be all modeled. This is very, very well done work. And even, oh, that's cool. I want to go back and see that. How the leaf has subsurface scattering on it, it looks like, where light's coming in from the other side and it's shining through ever so slightly so that you can see where it's focused on there, and you can see like the veins that stand out. That's very good lighting. They taught us that a bunch of times in school. And unless I'm wrong, it could be scattering the green light on there. I'm not entirely sure. Could be ray casting. So again, this is now this is where we can tell that it's a Halo game. Is this cockpit right here. And specifically, this cockpit is very, very important because it actually tells us a bit about the design decision here. Now, if you've been familiar with the direction of what Halo's been going in for the past couple years, this should stand out. This is a Pelican cockpit. So right here we notice this is a Halo game because a Pelican cockpit is really, really recognizable in terms of what it looks like. If you played the game, it stands out. But here's the thing. This, I believe, is a Halo 5 Pelican. And what we notice, looking here, is that this is an interior shot, but we notice that there's a problem. The canopy of this cockpit does not match this one at all. They have entirely different shapes, which means that this was, at first glance, a Halo 2 cockpit. It's actually not a Halo 3 cockpit, because a Halo 3 cockpit had the pilot in the front with the co-pilot behind the pilot. So this is a Halo 2 cockpit. And what I can do is we can go back here and see, this is from the Halo 2 E3 2004 demo, which is also a tech demo, is that you can see that the pilots are side by side. And they're more or less the same shape of the cockpit trusses, the structural supports here. And even further is that you can see that Halo 2 Anniversary, both these pilots are sitting side by side. What's in here? I forget. So further on, yeah, this is the Anniversary Edition, this is the regular one, shows the pilots side by side with one another, which further reinforces the fact that this is a Halo 2 Pelican. This is super important because it's an art design decision that seems to go against this. That's a very conscious choice. You don't tell your modeling team to make it like this unless you really, really want them to do that. So, oh yeah, that's very telling. Oh, there it is. That's what some people are saying. Fight for her. And fight for her is, if you remember back from Halo 1, I'm just going to pull it up here. I tried to look for the deer. I couldn't find an actual species that fit for that. Is from the first game. And you see it on the Pillar of Autumn. Fight for her. Which is, again, a bit of a hint that this is a Halo game. And unfortunately, I think that's just about as good of a look as you get. I don't know if the scene's going to cut. So, we're going to go to water. Really, really good water. Nice water. Decent shaders on it, too. Now, actually, I watched this before and went back to it saying that this is obviously a vehicle. The contours are right. It's a lot of straight lines. It's a water vehicle of some sort. A submarine of some sort. And there's a ruin there, too. Now, the submarine is interesting because I'm wondering, what does that mean exactly? This thing obviously moves like a vehicle. And it's lit like that. And given the shape of it, this is likely a human vehicle. But again, I'm not entirely sure what that means. Does that mean there's a boat? There's a submarine? How does that play into the rest of the game? And I'm calling it out as human because if I'm correct, down here at the bottom, it looks like it shares a shape similar to a longsword fighter. I could be wrong based on the shape of this down here, but it's really similar in terms of how it looks. I'm interested because now I'm wondering, this could be Forerunner because these claws here kind of remind me of a Sentinel. And it could very well be Forerunner, given this little silvery bit of color here. I have no idea. Another gorgeous shot here of the sand and the specks, as well as the lighting there, throwing very, very good shadows that mesh very well with the geometry. There's a little thing with the water shader here, how the braking thing, the shader seems to be discontinuous there. See, it's already flowing, and usually they would be carried with the water, but that's alright. That's a very minor thing. So this is where it was my second hint that this was Halo. First of all, the fibers are really, really nice. Especially here, like on higher resolution, I can actually see the fibers on the pants, the uniform. And they're using good woodland camouflage. This is camouflage that makes perfect sense for this. So, dropping a smoke grenade there in front of what I was saying, like, hey, it's a Stargate. And yeah, those are definitely Marines. And I saw that and I figured, yeah, it's absolutely Halo. Now, the design of the Marines is really, really important because if we remember what the Halo 4 Marines look like, that they didn't really look all that appealing. There was definitely a modern take to it. There definitely was, but looking at the Halo 4 and Halo 5 Marines, compared to the ones that are in the trailer here, that's not the same at all. As a matter of fact, what this looks like are the Halo Reach Marines. And that's another very important design decision, because it means that we're probably going to be going back to that. That's almost actually shot for shot the same type of uniform that they find there. However, if you look really, really close, you can see that in their hands, it looks like they're holding, unless I'm wrong, it looks like the Halo 5 battle rifle. So it seems like it's actually not a bad combination when you have that armor and that weaponry. This is actually a really, really cool shot. Like, if I can get like a 4K image of this, I might even make this my background. That's really cool. And this is funny because I'm thinking Halo Stargate, especially since we've already had a crossover game revealed to us in E3 with Show and Force. Gorgeous background. I just had to stop that again and take a look at it. This really comes together quite well. I swear to God, if there isn't like a Halo Stargate themed show in the future, it'd be a missed opportunity. A broken Halo ring, maybe symbolizing Installation 04, looking too deep into it, I don't know. Another gorgeous shot overall here. You can see the, looks like those could be different animals. They could be bison down there. I didn't actually take a good look at those animals, those humpbacks there. Part of me says bison, but it looks like there are tusks there as well, which could mean mammoths. Could mean mammoths, but it could be a completely different alien altogether. Actually, I didn't even see this before. Like, I didn't even see where the smoke is coming up. I can actually see the intact ring and the broken ring together. So this entire thing is one big shot. I didn't even notice that before. Also, I don't get why people are saying it's Africa. I mean, it looks more like Washington State than anything else. This is a really, really good shot. And of course, we have like the major thing coming up here. Oh, that's a Mark 6 helmet right there. And that's a Halo 2, Halo 3 era Mark 6 helmet. Very, very iconic in its design. And you can even see the Warhog in the background there. That's really cool, too. I didn't even notice that. Now, given the design of this, I think this was my Mark 6. Yeah, that's the Mark 6 armor here. And, was that anything else? Anything I grabbed? No, this is it here. So, immediately, we can see that there are parallels here. The way that the entire armor is designed, down to the very contours, is definitely Halo 2, Halo 3 era. You can definitely see it in the inner thigh, where it's there. You can see it on the, well, I don't know if you can get a good shot here. But you can see it on the foot. The back of the leg seems to have the exact same mesh. And it's not a good angle. It's a better shot that comes later on where you can see the cuff, the wrist, and the upper palm plate. It's really good to actually see this armor in a higher definition. And I'm trying to remember if... No, it's no space diaper. There is no space diaper in this one. So it looks like we're going for a middle ground here. As you can see, well, let's not mince words here. This is John's ass in the shot. That's his ass. That's his space ass. And it doesn't seem like they have the space diaper. I don't know how to feel about that. Oh, that's cool. I didn't see that either. That's a Warhog. That is a Halo 4. That's a Halo 4 model Warhog. Actually, it could be Halo 5, but that's cool. I can actually see the Marines in there too. So that's a troop hog, and you can see a dude. Not only a dude in the passenger seat, a dude that's riding shotgun, extreme shotgun, and a dude in the back. That's cool. That's really cool. Oh, that's how you do a Forerunner ruin right there. That's the perfect combination. I remember reading that they're going to have Sparth's art in this one. So that's another great thing, is that Sparth was the guy who did the concept art for Halo 4 and Halo 5. He's really, really good at his vision. And a lot of the times, I think that the art tends to look kind of like how it looks like conceptually. But we're going to see where that goes here. Actually, you know what this actually reminds me of? It reminds me of Halo Combat Evolved, Mission 2, which is Halo. And this is hitting all the nostalgia notes right here. Is that this entire thing is, this entire section here, this entire shot, is a call out to that. where you're in a Warhog driving around in a very big area where you have these pulsing towers in a mountainous region. Does that sound familiar? It should. It's pretty much the second level of Halo, down to a T. That's a really, really cool shot. And also, if you didn't notice, this highly horrifying and like undercranked version of Finish the Fight. Finish the Fight. Does that sound familiar at all? Well, it should. I guess there's more than one reason why I brought up... Well, there's more than one reason why I brought up, you know, the E3 2000 thing there. As well as you can see. Really, really cool upward panic shot. That's a very, very conscious design point as well. So, look at all the nostalgia. Look what we can achieve with this. Look at all the wonderful, the parts of yesteryear. Halo 2, Halo 3. Whoa, that is horrifying. I'm going to mute that, actually. So, it's the best of everything. They're calling into Halo 1, not so much Halo 2, but Halo 3 most definitely, and Halo Reach, and meshing it all together. It looks like they're going for a true artistic compromise with this one. The music, which is obviously, again, from that point, from the Halo 3 trailer, it's... No, pretty much almost all of it is a complete call out to that. I gotta say that I'm really interested for their vision. Now, it's important to note that this is obviously not the game. It says right at the beginning, it's the technical demo. It's a technical demo. It says right there at the very bottom when I decided to do this. It's a game engine demonstration. It's important to note that this is not the game. That's not the game. This ain't the game. This ain't the game. This definitely wasn't the game. This was impossible for it to be the game. And this isn't the game. Yet we were all hyped for these things together. We were all hyped for this. So I should look at it no different. Actually, Halo 2's trailer did hype a lot of people up, which is why I guess it was so different going between all this stuff. But I have to take all this into account. It's a technical demo. It's not actually a game at all. I like this stuff, so I'm going to have this on in the background just a little bit. It's a promise. It's not necessarily the product. So this is what we could potentially get if we play our cards right. If we're vocal in either our support or our criticism. At this point, there isn't much to criticize at this point, given how we just don't have a lot. So nobody knows when this is going to release. Nobody knows when we're actually going to get some solid footage. This is just to prove the game exists in some form. We are working on it, just so you know that you're not in a vacuum. We had to give you something to show you what we're working on. It's possible, it's quite possible that we could be seeing some more in the months to come. I'd really, really like that because that's really, really cool. I like the idea of all this. I like the idea of going back to a Halo ring. I like the more exploration. And I really like that this is all taking place in one big scene. There is continuity in this scene. You can actually pick it out on a larger, drawn-out, trucked-out shot. So that's really, really cool. So, am I excited for it? What's there to be excited for right now, though? This is not much to go on. This just proves, again, the game exists. So I'm not going to be excited for what I'm seeing. I'm excited in how it unfolds because the cinematography is very nice. The setting is nice. The lighting is really nice. And the overall sense of timing that the trailer has is very, very good. So as a production, I have to say that this is really, really cool. But I have to basically reserve judgment before anything else. I have to reserve judgment and see it for myself when it comes out, whenever that is. But until that point, I have something to look forward to, saying that I'm no longer in a vacuum when it comes to this game. There is something on the horizon that I can enjoy. So this is about 25 minutes going on, just me picking apart this 2-minute trailer. If you decide to stick through it, thank you very much. But it's an excuse to talk about Halo, a series that I love, and I will show interest for right up until the end. So thanks very much for sticking around, and I'll see you in the next video I decide to make.